welcome into episode 7 of the Pucks Out Podcast, a member of the Penalty Box Radio Network. I am Bobby Butler. With me, as always, Mr. Brandon Bond.
Hey-o!
We're here in the Standing Stone Farm studio, and we got another great show for you today. It's time to crack open a cold Sierra Nevada hazy little thing IPA, the official beer of the Pucks Out Podcast, and talk some hockey, recent events, and pop culture. You can find us on the 3 majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod.
Bobby, I almost open the beer before the show every time. Man. Yep. When a beer is sitting there, I just gotta have it. So yeah. I'm glad that I've been able to refrain myself from doing that.
Yeah, I get you, man. It's been a bad 24 hours for the city of Nashville so far. Last night, I was at the Preds game. You were at the Nashville SC game. Needless to say, both pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah. As far as for the soccer game, it was a success. You know, Atlanta's a really good soccer club, and for us to be able to bring 59,000 fans out there, it was awesome. It was a great soccer game too. We were really competitive, so I loved it. I had a great time.
And for the Preds game, I don't think I have ever seen such a horrible call by a referee that severely impacted the outcome of the game. For those of you that don't know, Preds are down 2-0 going into the third. Roman Josi gets an amazing breakaway goal. And then later on, Preds score again, but gets called back because apparently Colin Blackwell ran into the goalie. Watched it again. Not only was Blackwell pushed in by an Avs player, the puck was already across the line before he even touched the goalie.
Right.
And because they called interference, they couldn't be challenged.
Oh, my goodness.
It was hot garbage. Even Avs fans, there was an Avs fan behind me, even he said, oh, yeah, that should have been a goal.
Yeah, there was a similar, maybe not as quite as egregious, but pretty egregious type of call in the Atlanta NSC game. It was tied 1-1, and the side ref raises his flag for an offsides, and they never called it, and Atlanta scored a goal on the sequence. So, needless to say, it was very frustrating. All the players were talking to the refs like, you had your flag up, man. What do you, this is it's offside. So sucked to see that. It ended up being 2-1 at the end. So couple of tough losses for the city, but what a sight to see downtown this weekend. Yeah, man. It was bumping.
Yeah, the wife and I got downtown yesterday at around 11 o'clock, and it was packed. I mean, you got Atlanta fans, Colorado fans, Preds fans, Nashville SC fans everywhere. Every place was packed.
Yeah, it was. We went at Doc Holliday's off Second Avenue, so that's where we went before the game, and then ended up just after the game. We were so tired.
We wanted to play tourist in our own city because there's a lot of stuff, Nashville like must-dos that we've never done. Mm-hmm. So we ended up doing a little staycation at the Sheraton downtown, and we've never eaten at Acme, so we wanted to go eat at Acme. Because, it's all over Netflix. It's known as like a must-do. It was packed. So we didn't go.
I'm not an Acme.
Well, I don't know if I'm a fan or not. Didn't get to eat there. So I went next door to this place called Nashville Underground.
Yeah, for sure.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I actually, that's not a terrible place. So sounds like.
Then went over to the diner and got their famous spin dip, which I love.
Yeah, the diner's dope. They got some good stuff there. We watched many hockey games in that building.
Yeah, sure. Man, almost the entire playoffs in 2017 was watched there. All right, guys, it's time for the news. Well, I like that.
I feel like I'm like Tom Brokaw.
All right, so we've got a bunch to cover in news and notes from around the league. Let's start off with the upcoming rule change, possibly for emergency backup goalies.
What? Oh my goodness! This is, of course, Toronto gets beat by a specific rule, and then now it's time to change it. Yeah. So
they're not going to change a rule if somebody gets kicked in the chest with a skate blade.
No, attempted murder. Well, we're going to let it slide, sort of. But a 42-year-old coming out and beating Toronto Maple Leafs, not here, buddy. Not in this hockey league. Yeah, so some people are talking about needing some more safety. Like, I guess I don't know all the specifics to it, but like, you can't carry 3 goalies on a roster, man.
No, and I mean, listen, if they want to like get real complicated and say, oh, you have to have a third goalie, but it doesn't count against cap space. But if he plays more than 4 games a year, you have to pay him. Then it starts to get complicated.
Well, that goalies want to play. So if they're playing the third goalie spot, they'd rather, both them and the team would rather than be at their AHL playing and actually getting some experience playing. So there could definitely be a better system, but I mean, it's not like they're just bringing out guys, drawing it out of a hat. These are goalies that have been goalies at the club level or still playing, maybe it's adult league or whatever, but they've been competitive goalies in the hockey world. So I don't know. I don't know why.
Not to mention, this is one of those few times, like in hockey and really sports in general, like this is one of the best feel good moments when an emergency, even if he came in and didn't get the win. I mean, just him coming in and getting to live his dreams like that is awesome.
Yeah, that is.
And listen, this happens maybe twice a year. It's not like it's a huge issue that we have to deal with.
It doesn't even happen that often.
Yeah,
it's happened I think 3 or 4 times since the emergency backup goalie has been a thing. So
if this didn't happen to Toronto, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Right. If this happened to the Coyotes, nobody would talk about it. But we're not even talking about the biggest aspect for the NHL. Everybody in the world is watching hockey. People were turning on the game that would never turn on a hockey game. And to be able to expose people to your sport, it's what NHL lacks. It's what Gary Bettman doesn't see. He doesn't market his players. He doesn't play up to the strength of the stars in the league, in my opinion. So I think that this is a really good opportunity to showcase your sport, because an average Joe can come on and play in an NHL hockey game and be able to live out a dream for a moment.
Yeah. So we talked briefly about last night's games. Last night was a season opener for the Nashville SC. Historic night for them. Once they get outside of the garbage place that is Nissan Stadium into their own place, we might become season ticket holders.
Yeah, maybe so. But definitely, I don't want to hold season tickets at Nissan.
No,
really. It's it wasn't bad last night. It was actually a pretty enjoyable experience. So it maybe
helped that the weather was really nice last night.
It was a little chilly outside. You were inside, Bobby. So I mean, it's fine. But no,
it was a little chilly where I was too.
yeah, but a different kind of chilly. There was no wind. There was no ice.
Not a lot of rain.
Not a lot of. Well, there was no rain. That was very key. So
which honestly, in Tennessee right now, is a hard to come by getting a day with no rain.
I feel like I'm in Seattle.
Yeah,
or something.
We were in the hotel last night, and they turned on the news and like, get ready for the 3 wettest days of Tennessee in this year. I'm like, how is that possible?
I feel like I feel like we're the opposite of the Sahara Desert, because it is.
It's called a rainforest.
So, but we did want to talk. I just heard you again. I don't listen to you very often. We did want to talk. We were actually at the game on Thursday, the Preds Flames game. I think we wanted to talk about that a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah, I wanted to get the low out before we talked about. I'm still on like that.
I know.
I'm still on a high for that.
I woke up. I just woke up and I kept saying, "Did we really win that hockey game?"
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Mikael Granlund, our savior.
Lord and Savior.
He scores a goal with 0.1 seconds to tie the game in the third period to take it to overtime, and then scores the overtime game winner. So we were what, 5-10 seconds from leaving.
So we left our seats to go up to the bar in the all-inclusive zone, and when they scored with 47, when the Flames scored with 47 seconds left, I looked over at Brandon and said, "You know what? I'm gonna hit the head when I get back."
And I said, "What? You're gonna do what now?"
So I said, "All right, I'm going to go use the restroom. When I get back, we'll leave." I'm in the restroom. At the urinal next to me is a Flames fan, not really talking shit, just kind of chirping a little bit, having fun, kind of, having fun.
Hey, he won the game.
He's like, and so we both walk out at pretty much the same time, and we hear the goal horn go off. And I look at him, he looks at me, and I look at the security guard. I'm like, "Did we just score?" And he's like, "No." And the security guard's like, I don't know. And so I literally I have beer in hand and I just run and I look over and I see that we scored. I'm like, no way.
Well, I didn't believe, I was watching it live. And so I didn't believe it. So I just have my hands in the air.
And I just run over and hug you.
I know, because I was scared though, because they hadn't even reviewed it at that point. So
but then when they showed it on the big screen, it was clear as day that it would cross with 0.02 seconds left. And I mean, I don't think I've heard Bridgestone that loud since like 2017, 2018.
When a lot of folks had left.
Yeah, so this was like a 3/4 packed Bridgestone that was that loud.
There was a lot of Flames fans.
Oh, there were so many Flames fans. There was a bunch of groups. I know there was a bachelor party there, and there was another group that came down and they got little custom patches that like it was like a guitar on fire that said Calgary to Nashville.
Nice.
Yeah,
I didn't see those.
Yeah, so it was a big travel day for the Flames, and they showed up and they're friendly. You know, I love playing against Canadian teams because they're just better fans to watch a game with.
They are, especially the ones that want to travel down to Nashville.
Yeah,
they really like the atmosphere that we bring to hockey that a lot of Canadian teams don't really get.
I can't wait till we do a couple Canadian trips to go see a game. I'm just excited. I'm excited to go to Winnipeg.
You can, eh?
Yeah, so let's talk about Bobby Ryan scoring a hattie on his comeback.
Wow, that happened the same night as the Flames thing, and you're telling me about that night. So that's awesome for him. Congratulations. He's been out in the league's
addiction protocol,
substance abuse program.
So it's great to see him have a comeback like that. You know.
Yeah.
Guys like him and Leonard just showing that, you know, if you could just get clean and get a second chance, man, you can do a lot with it.
Well, and it shows the initiative that the NHL has taken.
Yeah,
I mean,
because in a lot of other leagues, they'd just be kicked out.
Yeah, they've definitely taken an interest to this because of the nature of hockey in itself. I mean, you're so prone to those addictive substances and wanting to feel better after getting clobbered all night. So it's good to see Bobby Ryan come back. Congratulations to him, getting them a hattie. Man, how far has Ottawa fallen since that 2017 season?
Yeah,
they're in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, man, it's funny, you know, talking about Ottawa. I can't help but think how different, not just Ottawa would be, but how much different the Preds would be if in that double overtime of the Eastern Conference Final, Ottawa scored and Pittsburgh didn't.
Right.
You think, because I think we could have beaten Ottawa that year for sure. I think we would have won the Stanley Cup. Ottawa probably wouldn't have fallen off a cliff like they did if they made it to the finals.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, man.
Yeah.
You know,
all right. So we have an update on the Ovi Watch. On Twitter, we had a poll. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about whether or not Alex Ovechkin will beat Gretzky. And so we put a poll out, and we had about 75 votes come in on whether or not Ovi will reach 895 goals. And 62 came in at yes, 38% no, which I thought for sure would be a little bit more towards the yes, but I guess, you know, some people don't think that.
62-30 is still pretty. But I mean, to be fair, those 38% have a much better chance of being right because all it takes is one bad injury. And he may not be the same.
Yeah, no, I mean, at his age, you know, injuries is definitely something, but, you know.
He's been so sustainable as well.
But all right, so we do not have the final scores for this week's Games of the Week, but what I can tell you is that mathematically, I cannot win. Mathematically, I can't even come close to winning this week. Chicago, man. Chicago screwed me.
Yeah, you started out with that loss on your double down. I think the total, currently, we both have a game left to play at the time we're recording.
I think I have 1 point, you have 8 points right now.
It is 8-1, so current score is 28-8.
So
it's not looking pretty, but you have the Lightning Bruins game, and have the Lightning winning, and I have the Caps Wild game and have the Caps winning. So man, I went with some pretty bold picks this past week too. And so I was happy to get out of there.
Well, yeah, so why don't we move on to this coming up week's Game of the Weeks, and why don't you give us your first one?
All right, so moving into my first game of the week, I have the Hurricanes Flyers, and the Flyers have been on a tear lately.
I was listening, sorry.
Oh, yeah, you didn't mean to interrupt me, Bobby. Go ahead. It seems important, man.
I was listening to the Flyers Rangers games on the way here today, and they were kicking that ass. I think it was 5-1 when I stopped listening.
The Flyers were winning?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, they've been killing it lately, and so I mean, it sucks to hear about Chris Kreider though fracturing his foot.
Yeah, that is.
After we didn't talk about him last week, but he got that instead of getting traded like we spoke about a few episodes ago. He actually ended up getting I think it was episode 2, Bobby. But we spoke about him potentially getting traded out of New York, and actually ended up signing a 7-year extension, and then fractured his foot. The Rangers were looking like they could potentially go to the playoffs. So to see that happen is unfortunate. To see, I got him on a couple fantasy teams. I'm trying to work through that. I'm sure he's probably more upset about it than I am.
I don't think so. I think you're a little more upset.
You know how dedicated I am to winning cups. So I had the Hurricanes Flyers on Thursday the 5th. That's going to be a great matchup. The Hurricanes are really trying to make their push with with what they did in the trade deadline. So it'll be interesting to see if they'll be able to stop the surging Flyers right now, man.
You have the Flyers in that game? Is that what you said?
Oh, I didn't even pick.
you
I
didn't.
am going to go with the Flyers, though.
All right. So my first game, I've got Flames Blue Jackets, and that'll come out the night that this airs, Wednesday the 4th. Yeah, the Flames are hot right now. You know, they lost Saturday night.
So hot right now.
And, lost against the Preds. So I think they're going to come back, and I think they're going to beat the Blue Jackets.
Not a bad call. The Flames looked really good against the Preds the other night.
Yeah, they're a good team.
So my second game of the week, I have the Avs playing the Canucks, and that is Friday the 6th. And I think that I am gonna go with the Canucks. I'm gonna pull an interesting move here. I've been picking the Avs a lot lately, but
Do you know who's home and who's away? Right now?
I believe that the Canucks are at home.
That's good for me because the Avs are killing it on the road. They're 8-0 in the last 8.
Nobody comes into my city and makes my buddy feel upset about a call. Okay, so that's why I'm going to kind of go against them. That one's for you, Bob. And maybe I'll lose for you too. So
maybe
it'll be a double win.
Yeah. So my next game, it's also Friday the 6th. I've got the Golden Knights going up against the Jets.
Okay, that would be a good game.
Yeah, that's a good Western Conference showdown.
Honestly, go Knights in terms of Preds place.
And that's who I'm going with. I'm going with the Knights on that one.
So I have game 3. I have the Preds Stars on Saturday the 7th. It's a 1 p.m. game, so that will be some good fun matinee hockey.
I think that's in Dallas, correct?
It is in Dallas. Yes. So. That should be fun. A good Central Division battle, bringing it back from the devastating loss that they gave the Preds on New Year's. So I am gonna go with the Predators. They are playing different kind of hockey than they were playing at New Year's. So all right, so I'm gonna have the Preds winning this Preds Stars game. They're not the same team that they were when they met at New Year's. So let's go Preds.
So next game, 2 basement dwellers right now, but I think that they're going to be competing pretty hard, and that's Saturday, Devils versus Rangers. Obviously, when I wrote this, it was before Chris Kreider got injured, but it's hard to think the Devils are going to win a game right against the Rangers, so I'm going to go with the Rangers. So who do you have as your last game of the week?
So my last game of the week, I have Vegas and the Calgary Flames. I am going to be looking forward to this specific matchup. I am going to double down on the Flames, though, man. Again, like I said, they've been playing good hockey, so is Vegas, but
that's a risky move. I like it, though.
You need me to go ultra risky. And at this point, I'm just flipping coins of what I should pick, man. I'm trying to pick the hardest games. I'm going to pick Detroit for the next 5 weeks. They're winning all 5 games.
All right. So my last game, I've got Capitals versus Sabres. Ovi taking on Jack Eichel. That's a Monday game. So that'll we'll be able to pretty much report that to you while we're recording next episode. And it's hard to go against the Caps, man, especially against Sabres. So I'm going to take Caps. I'm going to double down on it.
All right. Well, I honestly mean this. Good luck to you this week. I'd really like to make this a game going into the stretch. I hate straight dump. I'm lying. I love every minute of it.
Oh, I know.
I hope you score -1 points next week. All right, so that sums up the games of the week for episode 7. Let's go into some stuff outside the NHL. I'm
excited to talk some of this stuff.
Yeah.
We don't have a pop culture segment, so we can talk a little bit more stuff, outside. We've got some new segments coming up this week, but we're gonna start off talking some Titans. Yeah, we like to talk about stuff outside of Nashville, but we're based here in Nashville, and there's a lot of stuff going on, whether it's Tom Brady, Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry,
Josh Rosen. You can't throw him out of the considerations, buddy. He's a dominant force in the backup role. Honestly, though, Jackson had mentioned, hey, you guys should talk about this. It was funny. It was already on the show doc. So, yeah. But shout out there. We're gonna talk a little bit about it. I want to go ahead and start this whole conversation off by saying, please don't bring Tom Brady here. Please please. He's a 43-year-old quarterback that doesn't have a deep ball anymore. Even if he gives us a couple of good, decent seasons at 9-7 or 10-6 or whatever, basically what you're doing is you're hampering yourself for a while, bringing him in and not actually getting a future for a future quarterback. Yeah. So Tannehill still has an opportunity to be that in my mind. I don't want him to sign him to a super, super long deal, though. I think that he still has a little bit to prove. If he would be comfortable doing it, I mean, I'd love to get him on a franchise tag offer. I don't know if that's something that he would be willing to do. I definitely don't think the Titans should alienate him by giving him that tag, and especially thinking about, you know, potentially tagging Derrick Henry as well. So what about you on the quarterback?
Yeah,
front?
definitely. You know, listen. Besides my Redskins, I'm a Patriots fan. I've always had an affinity for Boston area sports. I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. One of my favorite players to ever play the game. He's one of the best. He's probably the best quarterback to ever play the game. And you're right. He is getting old. He's having to change his game plan up. I never want to see him in anything other than a Patriots jersey. So I do not want to see him in Tennessee. However, I would find it very amusing to see all these Titan fans who for the last almost a decade have talked nonstop shit about Tom Brady try to rationalize in their head that they've always loved Tom Brady and that they can't wait to see him here.
Well, no, but that is fandom, though. You know. Once they're on your team, different ball game. Look, I have a deep distaste for Nick Saban, but if they announce that Nick Saban is coming to coach the Auburn Tigers next year, I'll tell you what, that Nick Saban, he's a good guy.
I think many heads would explode.
That's all right with me. And personally, I'd like to win football games, and he's a great football coach.
Oh, no, I agree.
So, I mean, I hear you there. It's not even
I think
that.
This specific, because, you know, if this was Tom Brady 5-6 years ago, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a Tom Brady who, you know, this is the Tom Brady that Max Kellerman called out 6 years ago. He's finally coming to fruition.
Who was the Titans quarterback 5 years ago, though? Was it?
I don't know.
Maybe Jake Locker. I don't know if you give up Jake Locker for the opportunity for Brady though. No, seriously, I completely agree. I think that Tannehill earned his opportunity. I think that he showed that he was competent and comfortable with having a leading receiver like A.J. Brown. And he didn't have all that many weapons. I mean, Corey Davis is, you know, everybody talks about how Corey Davis is a dominant run blocking receiver. That's really awesome and everything, but you don't draft a player at number 5 overall for some run blocking unless he's an offensive tackle with some great upside, blindside tackle. I think you got to give Tannehill an opportunity, in my opinion.
So Ryan Tannehill was drafted in 2012. He's been in the league 8 years. Yes, he's had a bad coach. He's been on a bad team, but he's a flash in the pan. What we've seen the last year and a half from him isn't sustainable. With everything being relative, he's not a very good quarterback, in my opinion. Just like we saw with Fitzmagic. You know, Ryan Fitzmagic at times shows he looks like one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it. Then he kind of goes back into his own way. And one of the reasons Tannehill's doing so well is because they're leaning so heavily. Almost 400 carries, he's getting almost 400 carries a season. I almost said it, 400 carries a game on Derrick Henry, and they're leaning hard on that. Well, what happens when inevitably, yes, Derrick Henry is a monster of a man. He's an amazing athlete. He's a freak of nature. Inevitably, he's going to get hit low. He's going to get a high ankle sprain. His age is going to start rearing its head. They won't be able to lean on him like that. And when that game happens, and listen, everyone's like, oh, well, you can't tackle Derrick Henry. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs learned how to tackle Derrick Henry pretty damn well, and other teams are going to as well. And when that happens, you'll see that Ryan Tannehill is going to start be under stress. He's going to be dealing with the rush more often, and I don't think he can adapt to that.
Yeah, see, but I completely disagree because he did it completely everything that he was asked to do. I think maybe there's some regression in the red zone potentially. Like I just said, I don't think that they should sign him to a 7-year deal or anything. You know, I think that it's a good because what you gain by re-signing Tannehill, you know what you're getting.
Yeah, I think Tannehill is a great Band-Aid quarterback until they can get a franchise, because they thought Marcus Mariota was going to be that franchise, you know, quarterback that takes them to the promised land.
Sure.
Obviously, he didn't pan out, and that happens.
Well,
and I don't think Tannehill is that guy either, but I think he's a great for what he is, and that is, you're in here until we find a good young quarterback to take over what Mariota started.
Well,
sign him to a 2-year.
Well, you have to have a little draft capital for that
Yeah.
too. You know, when you're drafting 28th in
Yeah.
the draft, it's hard to
So that
get
puts
some sort of.
so usually with
generational talent.
teams with these kind of quarterbacks, these band-aid quarterbacks, I like to call them, they usually don't make it to the conference final. So
Sure.
now they're losing their draft capital. So I think if I would almost say if you can get the picks for them, I would try and sell them for a couple good picks to a team that really needs a good quarterback. Unfortunately, there's some good quarterbacks in the draft this year, and you know a lot of those teams are going to be getting those guys. I think the Titans are in a very tough position with the players that they have and the picks that they have.
Sure, but you've proven you can win with Tannehill.
Exactly.
So
That's for now.
That's what you have to look at. You're not going to have to pay him the farm or anything like that. I hear what you're saying. Derrick Henry. Let's talk a little Titans running back.
Yeah, you know, I just kind of expressed my opinion on it. 400 carries a season, that's a lot, and that's a big guy on those knees and on those ankles.
Well, he's a lot built differently.
Yes,
than a lot
yeah,
of
of
running
course.
backs. He's 6'3",
and I'm not one of those guys that's going to say, "Oh,
260,
Derrick Henry
so-
sucks." He obviously doesn't suck. He's
No,
an
no.
amazing athlete.
I hear what you're
You know,
saying.
he's the kind of guy that can put the entire team on his back,
Yeah,
almost literally and metaphorically.
King Henry.
But eventually, those carries are going to catch up with him, and
Obviously, it's inevitable that eventually he will not be able to play football anymore. I don't think that he is Thor or Zeus. He will eventually be subjugated to retirement. But for a long time, people have been saying these carries are going to catch up with him. These carries are going to catch up with him. It was through college, and now, but see, what you're forgetting is he didn't have a ton of carries his first 2 or 3 years in the NFL.
no, he had
Behind
110
DeMarco
in
Mara.
16, 176 in 2017, and he wasn't a 400 attempts. It was 300 attempts. I don't know how many attempts he got in the playoffs, but probably a good portion.
He's not used in the passing game, so that's not extra hit.
I think that if the Titans want to preserve him, bring in a good 1-2 punch running back, get them
they
use
need
Derrick
another
Henry.
backup.
You know, obviously he's shown that he can be more than just a red zone. He can take that bitch 99 yards.
Oh yeah, he's a threat every time he
But
touches the football.
they definitely need to bring in someone else to, you know, kind of work in the passing game, the screens, and kind of give him a rest. I think that if done right, you know, and maybe Vrabel is smart enough to do this, and I think he is, you know, he's of the Bill Belichick mindset. You know, you've got to take care of your players. You can't do what the Redskins do and lean on your players and only them and run them into the dirt, because then you're just going to wind up with injured players.
Absolutely. I just don't want to see. I don't want to pay him $15 million a
No.
year, but I think he's worth a solid 13.5 million a year for, and I would say I'd say a 4-year contract. If you can
Yeah.
get a 4-year contract at 13.5, you can front load it for him. He'd probably be happy about that. I mean, if he is still there, he may be able to get another contract.
Yeah, so I mean, he's hitting free agency right now. I just looked up. Yeah, I think the Titans are in a tough spot, you know, because he could obviously go to a team and he could get a king's ransom at a lot of teams.
Well, you don't want him to go to Houston, you know, because I mean that's a very real possibility with a lot of the same advantages, a lot of the same. You know, he's going to know the teams that they're playing. That's going to hurt. I mean, because Houston's win now. I mean, Bill O'Brien, the GM coach, is. I mean, he's not made a lot of great coaching decisions, but as a GM, he's shown that he's willing to sell the farm for something.
I think he stays. I think they sign him to a short term,
I think he
2,
does,
3, maybe 4 years.
I think he does. I think he does too. I think there's definitely some places that he would fit. I mean, really anywhere. If you like,
I mean,
to win
yeah, a
football,
guy
you
like that,
to,
you can go anywhere.
You like to win football games. He could
Yeah.
really fit in anywhere. But I'd like to see him back here as well. There's a couple other guys that, you know, I'm not sure if they're going to bring back Jack Conklin. I'm not sure if they're gonna bring back Logan Ryan. I would love to see Logan Ryan back, but you know, he may be a little steep for us. Titans have some good opportunities. I really like Vrabel as a coach. Saw him at a Preds game, so we're basically best friends now. So he lets me call him Mike. He doesn't know that. Please don't tell Coach Vrabel I called him.
You babysit his kids. He doesn't know that either. But
My name is Bobby. No, absolutely. So I like John Robinson. I'm looking forward to what they can do with the opportunities that they have. But I think that really at least gives us a good wrap on some of the questions that folks may be having about the Titans free agency. So Any notable combine performances you wanted to discuss?
So
man?
I never watch much of the combine. I know there was a punter.
I never watch any of it.
Yeah, I sometimes watch it when it's on at a bar. From what I've seen, Joe Burrow's hands apparently are a big
very
talking
tiny,
point.
very tiny, 9 inches. I heard, which sounds tiny to me, in my opinion. But I loved how he joked about it. He tweeted out that he was probably just going to have to retire because he had such baby hands. So that was pretty funny. So my boy, the punter, Michael Turk, who got him up 25 reps on the bench press, he beat out, I think it was every single receiver and 10 offensive linemen. Literally, your job is to go around and try to push around 300-pound men while they're moving. And you just let a punter outbench you. That is sad, in my opinion. So that was pretty notable for me. Other than that, nothing really that stood out. It doesn't really mean a whole lot.
I'm looking at a couple O-linemen. A lot of them were in the 40s. I'm trying to find the list of punters to see where he ranks up with punters on other stuff, if they even do that.
Find the 40 times. Is there any super fast?
So
people?
what I'm looking at, here's specialist. I'm guessing that he falls under a specialist. He's 226 pounds. He's real big for a punter. CBS is calling him the second best punter in the draft heading into the combine. His 40 time was 4.79. Yeah, so I've got the 40-yard dash right here for the receivers. The first one is Henry Ruggs, the third from Alabama, at 4.27.
Ooh,
he's quick.
That's the record, isn't it?
4.22 by John Ross.
Okay. So not nearly as fast. So
no.
All right. Wow. What a slow piece of garbage.
Trash.
I don't think I could stand up out of this chair at 4.22, man.
I know I couldn't. I might be able to drink a beer faster than he can run a 40 though.
We got the real skills in life.
Time for a mid-roll. Today's episode of Pucks Out Podcast is brought to you by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. Sierra Nevada has been family owned and operated since 1980. The number one craft brand in 2018 continues to be the number one selling hazy IPA and the fastest growing craft brand in 2020. Go get yourself the 2019 gold medal winning Hazy Little Thing IPA and experience the crisp and refreshing Magnum hops that they have to offer. Now back to the show. All right, guys, welcome back. We are now going to push into Joke of the Week.
Joke of the Week.
So this one, we're not going to get political on this show. This joke kind of falls in the realm of politics, but we're not actually going to be talking. This is more talking about how stupid people are. So last week, Garth Brooks was in Detroit, where there's a certain famous player who played for the Lions with the last name Sanders. He decided to wear
Barry, wasn't it?
Yeah, Barry. And he decided to wear a Detroit Lions Barry Sanders jersey, obviously with number 20 on it.
And his last name, Sanders.
Yeah.
On it.
So, of course, the entire internet freaks out. They tried to cancel Garth Brooks because they thought he was wearing a Bernie Sanders 2020.
Cut it out, GB, is what they were saying to him, man. I have so much to say about this. It is the number one thing that I have to say about this is politicians do not have jerseys. They don't. They wear suits. They're not on teams. They don't get.
I want to see them start putting their name and numbers on the back of their suits.
That's not that. I mean, like you get like a Republican jersey and a Democrat jersey, and like you wear the jersey and you got a number and your
fight
name,
to the death.
And like that's how you. Yeah, if we did that, then I could understand being upset at this guy. I mean, not really.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get into the mind of this person now. But then on top of that, maybe thinking it's a Sanders shirt or something. But you're in Detroit, a home of the Detroit Lions. This was not in any way, shape, or form out of the ordinary for somebody playing a show in a famous city to wear something like that.
And it's not like it's a jersey t-shirt. It's a straight up football jersey.
It is a Barry Sanders jersey, for goodness sake. So the biggest joke here is parents that haven't taught their kids about Barry Sanders, for goodness sake.
And then Detroit tweeted, "He's got your vote," with a picture of Barry Sanders 2020 running for president with a goat.
Barry Sanders. So what a joke. Why would you in the world think that Garth Brooks is gonna alienate what I would assume to be a large portion of his fan base by wearing a Sanders shirt. And even the liberal side of his fan base is probably not a big Barry Sanders group, so Bernie Sanders group. So I guess they're not big Barry Sanders guys either.
Yeah.
Though, so what a joke!
Yeah, what a joke!
That is an absolute absurd thing.
Yeah, so like we said earlier, we don't have pop culture this week. We're just going to be talking some stuff. So we've got a new segment coming up. But before we hit that, we're going to do some rankings, our top 3 and bottom 3 that we love and hate about weddings.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's
wedding season, Bob.
Yeah, it's wedding season. I've got some weddings coming up, and I love and hate them. So, and I think a lot of people do.
It's a love-hate until it's a love, or it's a love-hate until it's an absolute hate. You go into it with okay, this could be okay, this could be fun, and then you either come out of it saying, wow, what a great time.
Or you're there like,
wow,
this cannot end soon enough.
Wow, these people really don't like me, do they? I cannot believe this. My buddy Chuck thought that he was not getting invited was the bad thing. That's actually the real invite. It's getting to stay home. So I think that we were going to do bottom.
Yeah, we'll each do their 3 worst things.
Throw some honorable mentions
so
in
there, I'll start off with my number 3 worst things. And these really aren't in a order of, my number 1 worst thing is the absolute worst. These things are just kind of, they're all equally bad.
Thoughts off the cuff.
So the actual getting ready for a wedding, the getting dressed, I'm a big guy. So like remembering, it's been like a year since I had a wedding. Does this still fit? Do I, having to pick stuff up in the dry cleaning, it's not as bad when you're in the wedding and you can kind of go and get fitted for something. And then it's like, all right, whatever. But the actual getting ready part sucks.
All right. So my number, again, it's kind of like you. I didn't really have something that this is for sure the worst part. They're all the worst when it's actually happening. So when you have me do stuff at your wedding as if I'm your employee, like you want me to move chairs or you want me to like push the cheese cart around or something, I don't work here, lady. I'm here for a wedding, and I don't care how mean you think you look with that clipboard. You're not going to be able to chase me in those 14-inch heels. Okay. So no, I don't like it when I'm called to a wedding and then I'm expected to work that wedding. So that would probably be something that really really wears me out.
Planning your wedding when you know damn well that there is an important sports event on that day.
Game day weddingers are, when I saw you put that on there, I was like, dang, that's really good. I'm not going to change mine now, but that one is so good.
Yeah.
And then, to be fair, it's gotten a lot easier with technology to miss, and I'm air quoting, miss games. Because I don't miss them. I just watch them on my phone. That is,
but there are some that there is no excuse. The Super Bowl, a Stanley Cup playoff game.
Sure.
Especially when you're like, it's one thing if your group of friends are not really into that sport and you know that. Sure. And maybe there's 1 or 2 guys and you just have to apologize to them. Maybe it just it couldn't work out. There's no excuse for it on Super Bowl Sunday. No excuse.
Curling quarterfinals.
Oh, yeah.
When curling quarterfinals.
We take that shit seriously here in Nashville.
We're
all about curling.
We're huge curling fans.
Yeah.
So no, but I completely agree. And the thing is, when people, it's just sports.
No, man.
Yeah.
It's not just sports.
It absolutely is in the broadest sense of the term, just sports. But sports are more than just an event where dudes are playing with a ball on a field. It's an event.
Dudes with a puck on ice.
It's a socialization. You're being a part of something more. It's, something to get you to escape from your regular life that, you get to put aside all of everything that you think about somebody else, and you get to watch the best athletes in the world compete on the highest stage. So I completely agree. I agree with you in the fact that there are some that you can't avoid. Like, I'm not saying cancel your wedding because there's a regular season, the Braves game is on. I'm so sorry.
Are you a Braves fan? No, but it's a game, man.
Yeah. I'm just trying to watch the game.
I have a gambling problem. I have to watch it.
World Series of Poker's on tonight, buddy. So yeah, that's a really good one. I am gonna come in and hit you with this. A super long ceremony is the worst thing in the history of anything in a wedding. If you want to do a long ceremony, I understand. You should do that beforehand. And then when you bring me out, you give me the cliff notes. You give me the promise you guys are going to love each other. And you guys are like, yeah, we're going to do that. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Really? I just want to know if you both said yes.
This is a great wedding. Like, right. I'm here for 2 things, okay? Or at least as far as the ceremony portion. I'm here to see if somebody gets left at the altar. Number 2, I am here to see if anybody objects to the union. And that was always super intriguing to me, that they gave people the opportunity to speak up on behalf. What if it's just some guys like, you know what? No, I'm not feeling this. Do you have to respect this guy's wishes? Your objection is noted, Uncle Jim Bob. However, we are going to get back to the wedding. So that is going to be something that really wears me out in a wedding, is a long ceremony.
So coming into my number 1, and it's pretty basic. I feel like a lot of people have this. It's very simple. Not having an open bar, man.
Bro, how do we both have the same number 1? That's
like,
mine. Mine says cash bar / no bar.
If you're not going to have an open bar, fine. You need to specify that on the invite.
Yes. So
then I'm not going to, and I won't come.
Or that, or I mean, I'll just bring a cooler.
Yeah.
No biggie. I respect you. If it's somebody, I definitely got to go to this
Yeah,
wedding.
if I got to go, I'll bring a flask or something.
But you got to remember, I got a limited weekend days. So I'm not gonna go and spend this day. To be perfectly honest, I enjoy you as people and as friends. I mean, this wedding is really for you, and we're there for you. I would have to completely agree. You got to have a few drinks for your guests.
Yeah.
They've taken time out of their day to drive in their busy schedule, and maybe they have kids. Maybe they had to get a babysitter. I'm saying all this stuff that other people may have to do, but maybe I got to feed my dog. Maybe I got to take my dog out. Maybe I got to plan for the podcast. I don't know. I have stuff to do too, Bobby. I just can't think of it right now.
Xbox ain't gonna play itself, man.
Look, exactly. I didn't spend that money for no reason. So hook a brother up. Just
I think it's lazy. And you know what? If you need to, weddings are expensive, and if you need to save up a couple extra months to have an open bar, do it.
Worth it.
Don't expect me to not only come to your wedding, but also pay to be at your wedding. Because that's what it is.
Exactly.
It's literally the same way as you giving me hey, you want to come to my wedding? It only cost $100.
Or you want to go? Hey, you want to come to my wedding? It's at a Jonathan's, so you can buy your drinks yourself. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh heck yeah!
All right, so that was our worst. Time to go from low to
Bring it
high,
up,
and let's
bring
talk
it
about
up,
some
bring
good
it
things.
up,
Listen,
yeah.
weddings aren't all bad. Some weddings are really good, and when the main course of food is really good, because sometimes wedding food can be bad.
Yeah, it can be.
But when it's good, it's good.
It can be very bland and generic. So yeah. So I mean, yes, you genuinely get a dope meal.
Yeah.
That's a good, that's already a good setting off point of a good wedding. So that's your number 3. The ceremony and the reception being at the same place is very important to me. I don't want to have to go from the ceremony and then get in my car and drive to a new place for the reception.
Yeah.
Not a fan of it. I understand that sometimes it's impossible. This is America, buddy. Nothing is impossible, okay? Because what you can do is you can find a new venue to where you can do both the ceremony and the reception at the same place. So that would be one of my favorite things, is actually when they do have that ceremony and reception at the same place.
This is kind of the opposite of a thing that I hate. That is when the vows and the ceremony is to the point and concise. It gets it in and out, gets the point across. There's nothing I hate worse. Well, obviously there's something I hate worse because there are things like that. But I really hate it when the vows and ceremony are just doing random shit that nobody cares about. Like, oh, these two couples built candles and they're gonna light them together, cross-armed, to show their love. Shut up. The marriage is gonna show their love for each other.
Yeah, right. They have prepared an interpretive dance for you to show what their love would be like if it was an interpretive dance. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
So
with my
I
wedding,
can
we
agree.
made it very clear. We wanted our vows and our ceremony to be to the point, get people in and out. People are here to celebrate with us, not just to
Exactly.
watch us talk to each other.
Exactly. So one of your favorites is the same as my not favorite. So
Yeah.
we covered all the bases there.
Yeah.
I completely agree. If it's because it becomes so much more memorable when it
Yeah.
is a shorter ceremony, you are able to recall more of that and the cool parts to it.
There's
So-
a time and place for if you want people to just listen to you talk. It's called a podcast, not a wedding.
Yeah, exactly. You should get some recording equipment and just talk about what you don't like about weddings or do like about them. All right, so my second one is fairly obvious. I love to have a good time. I don't know if the people of this podcast would understand that about me. I don't make it very evident. So I like it when there is either a really good band or a really good DJ, a dance floor, and everybody is enjoying themselves. Not everybody sitting around around on the tables on the outside of the dance floor. I really enjoy it when everybody's having a really good time at a wedding, making it more almost like a party. As you said, a celebration. A lot of weddings are like this, and then you always get those ones that are not. That you have to encourage people to get up and dance, and if you are dancing, you're getting the side eye of Aunt Dorothy. That's, she's not happy. She, dancing is the devil. I don't know if you heard about this. So that would be mine, is the revelry that comes from a wedding. The huzzah! The party people are in town, you could say.
Yeah, they make a wedding. So my favorite thing is, open bar, great. It's expected. Having an open bar is expected, but the best thing is a full open bar. When you go up and you're expecting, sometimes, listen, if you get there sometimes, like,
that's what
I'm okay if I get to a wedding and it's like, we have a red and a white wine and we've got like 2 beers to choose, so I'm cool. That's okay. Okay, I'm cool with that. What's really good.
I'm not a beggar. We're not beggars,
It's cool. But when I get there and like, it's a full open bar, they have like 10 beer choices, 10 wine choices. They have full liquor. That is the best thing. Now, yes, I'm going to get shit-faced, but I'm going to have a lot of fun. And I'm going to be so happy that you had the decision to have.
Megan and Stephanie are not going to be happy, but we are going to be thrilled by your choice to have the open bar.
Like, you mean you've got Guinness and Jameson?
No
what?
Question. Yeah. Yes.
I see you don't have any Sierra Nevada, though, so that's going to have to change.
Yeah, so we're contractually obligated to ask about your Sierra Nevada choices first, please. So, do you have somebody that can run to the store for me, please, Jim? No, a full open bar is because it's literally a dream come true. It's almost a little much. It's like when you go to the Lexus Lounge and it's just the whole bar, and you just say what you want, and then it's there.
Yeah,
and then you don't pull money out of your pocket or anything. They just give it to you, and so. A full open bar was obviously my top number one. Do we have any honorable mentions for worst or best?
Well, so for best is when you're not the drunkest person there. I love when I'm a little bit drunk and I see that someone much drunker than me to the left, and I'm like, haha, I can't get in trouble tonight because I'm not the worst. Now, one time.
It's like, Megan, sure, I rode on top of the car home, but at least I didn't puke in your shoes like so-and-so did.
Well, one wedding, we were at a friend's, and I got completely shit-faced, surprising. And there was one guy, drunker than me, but by just a little bit. So I still got in a little bit of trouble the next morning, but I would still say I wasn't the drunkest.
Okay, so one of my things that were the worst kind of goes into yours with the game day ones, but weird times for weddings. Like 11 o'clock on a Saturday. Yeah. That's strange. That's very unnerving to me that now I have to wake up super early and get to like a wedding, And so super weird times. Weird traditions always kind of wore me out. It's like we all got to line up and say hello to the bride and groom. Like, what?
That's dumb.
Like, I've known them for a long time. I'll just say what up to them. Hey, congratulations. They get a minute. I get it. They're going to be busy. They may not get to talk to everybody. I don't, I'll make sure they see me, but I'm not going to take up a lot of their time. And so the folks that, when you do that line, inevitably, you're going to have somebody that wants to stand up there and talk to them about everything. And now you're just standing in this line and we're wasting this precious wedding time talking about nonsense.
So I've got one that could either be good or bad depending on where you're sitting. If you're sitting with the common folk, it's real funny when a best man or maid of honor is shit-faced and giving a speech. If you're at one of the other tables, the important tables, not as funny. But watching the best man or the maid of honor just give a sloshed, slurring speech, losing their place, not knowing what's happening, saying inappropriate stuff is one of the best things to watch for common folk.
Unfortunately for you, Bobby, I gave a rousing speech.
Your speech was amazing.
Everybody stood and clapped. Obama was there. He clapped. He gave me the Congressional Medal of Freedom after your speech. I was surprised. I had young children that were wanting me to mentor them.
You signed autographs.
They asked me to play in the wedding band after I was done with my speech. So no, that is funny. Yeah. So that is a hit or miss. It depends on how excited you are for the specific wedding. If you, again, like you said, if you're just kind of a background character, It's always nice to see a good sloshing.
Yeah.
So
All right, so let's we've got a couple things we want to talk about. One more rankings, and it's less of a rankings and more of us just preaching. Girl Scout cookie rankings.
we came into this thinking that let's do some rankings, and then we realized there is no reason to rank Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, there's a clear 101, and that's Samoans. Samoas.
Gotta have the Samoas. They're number one in my heart, number one in my stomach, number one in my taste buds. I have a soft, distant second. Thin Mints, frozen only. So I'm a big frozen Thin Mint guy.
I think that takes
the time of
I
day.
think technically it takes number 2, but that's because everything else is hot garbage.
Yeah, tagalongs. Are you joking? They're disgusting. The lemon ones, yuck, dude, yuck.
So really, there's a 101 and a 102, and then everything else is trash.
So the Girl Scout cookie rankings we're not gonna rank them.
Yeah.
You get Samoas.
They don't deserve
or
a
you're
ranking.
not, or you're not. And I'm sure we're gonna have some hate. Some people are like, because the folks that like tagalongs are like a certain kind of people, and they're gonna come at us pretty hard.
They're like Dr. Pepper people.
I see. I'm a Dr. Pepper person.
And I get that, but you're serious about your Dr. Pepper, aren't you?
Exactly.
I'm a Pepsi guy, and I'm serious about my Pepsi. Don't give me that Coke
Yeah.
bullshit. I want Pepsi, bro.
So we're okay with you coming at us with your favorite Girl Scout cookies, but just know that we've got a rank, and we'll never come off this hill, ever.
Yeah, and we have the microphones. You don't.
We're going to regret that. They're going to be sending us videos of them eating the tagalongs.
All right, so this is a new segment we like to call This or That.
This or that.
We have a couple options to choose from.
I'm not going to do that every time we do this or that.
We'll see what
that
happens.
was a one-time situation.
We'll get a voiceover to do an intro for that segment. All right, so the first one up, you get to watch movies anytime you want, but you can never listen to music, any sort of form of music ever again, or you can listen to any music you want, but you can never watch a movie again in your life. You want to choose this, or you want to choose that?
I still get TV shows if I pick music.
So
right?
yeah, so here's the best way to say. Obviously, standard movies are out. Regular shows, yes. I don't know about miniseries.
Okay, miniseries can be arguably a movie. So I will say miniseries out. Okay, now the next question I have is going to be, when you're watching a movie and there's music in it,
you don't hear it.
It's blank. It's just nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm definitely picking music because half of movies are music.
Yeah.
Like imagine just how.
Well, okay, so I would say that background music, like if you're just watching like I don't know an action movie and like dun, 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 you can hear that. But if it's a musical, you don't get to hear the musical parts of musical, which is actually a pro.
No, I don't get to listen to musicals anymore, Bobby. You're just making this like so easy.
I mean, that's what makes Cats bad.
No, I think I'm not a huge movie guy.
I'm the same.
I think I'm gonna go with music, even though I'm not a big music guy. I just don't listen to a lot of music. I listen to a lot of podcasts and sports podcasts.
I think for me, music is so intertwined in my life, either whether it's at the gym or driving has definitely started to go more towards podcasts, but I couldn't imagine. I'm one of those guys that if I get to the gym and I've already took my pre-workout, I'm ready, and I don't have my headphones with me, there's a 80% chance I'm going home and not working out. Yeah, and also like I love going to concerts. Going to concerts is one of my favorite things. Now, yes, obviously it would suck not being able to watch movies, no more Star Wars movies or anything like that.
Yeah,
I mean
that would be. But I mean, there's so many good Star Wars TV shows now,
and you can read the synopsis afterwards.
Sure, yeah, you can.
Hard to read synopsis of music.
Yeah, we can read. So yeah, I agree. I think music is very, very intertwined. What are we going to do on elevators if they don't have little tunes playing? You know what I'm saying?
We'll have to put TVs in all elevators and play some movies.
This is Batman, The Dark Knight. All right, so this or that. Pork, beef, chicken. You get to eliminate one and have the others for the rest of your life. This, that. What do you got here, man? This or that.
This was a hard. Like when I first found this,
it was so easy for me.
I thought it was easy
not even
until I started realizing all the things that because no pork means no baby back ribs ever again. No beef means no steak ever again. And no chicken means no buffalo wings. And to me, like, those are like my three favorite foods, man.
Yeah, I completely agree that one of these has some decent things that I may have to lose. But it is no question in the world I'm losing pork.
Really?
I am not. I don't need ribs. Ribs are great, but I don't need them. Bacon's all right.
Brisket.
That's a hot take. People love bacon. They're gonna hate me for saying that. Bacon is a great addition to things. I
No.
don't think it's a great standalone.
Bacon's not great standalone, and it's barely a great addition.
Yeah, I'm with you. So pork is easy to me. I'm gonna definitely need some chicken wings. I love a good chicken sandwich. Obviously, as you said, steak. I love a burger. There ain't no way that I'm giving up anything other than pork. If I had to pick one, I think I would probably have to pick beef. Would be my singular choice.
Yeah, and I think I agree. It wasn't as easy for me.
Yeah.
But I think I agree with you. Because I mean, you can get good barbecue from beef.
Yeah, that's how they make it in Texas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is with
So,
beef,
and I mean, I love my baby back ribs. They are some of the best food. But I think
Chili's baby back ribs.
not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, and honestly, not a fan. I'm not a Chili's guy.
Yeah.
But dope commercial. Dope commercial.
Yeah, dope commercial. Not a great place. Any place can have a $1 margarita.
Yeah, and in those places, you don't have to read a novel to find
Yeah.
it in the menu.
But I think I'm with you. Very hesitantly, I'm giving up pork.
Pork. You're out of here, buddy.
Yeah.
So peace. This podcast is now a chicken beef podcast exclusively.
All right, so time to talk about what we've been binging lately. What have you been binging, bud?
I think I'm I've been watching a couple different shows. Nothing I've just been hardcore only watching. But BoJack Horseman, I've been trying to watch through it again. The new final season's out, so I haven't seen any of that. So I'm pushing through to that one. So BoJack Horseman is awesome. Will Arnett. So many great voice actors in there. So it hits on so many like real problems and issues that a lot of people think about, that it's kind of hidden and masked in humor. So I really enjoy BoJack Horseman. What about yourself, buddy?
So there's a story that goes along with this. So last week, maybe 2 weeks ago now, I get home. My wife tells me, hey, so I started this new show if you want to watch with me. I'm like, sure. What's it about? She's like, well, it's about a king who gets a prophecy that he's going to die, that the king is going to die in like 2 days. So he abdicates his throne and gives the throne to his prince. Like, that sounds like a dope show.
Tricked him.
And I start watching it, and it's a show called King Julian. It's about the king, the lemur from Madagascar. It's a prequel of how he became the king. And she's like, haha, I got you. And I'm like, oh, all right. I start watching. I'm like, this is like my new favorite show. It's so funny.
The way that they're doing a lot of the animated shows and stuff nowadays, they're not just for kids.
No.
They're kid focused. But me and Stephanie watched Toy Story 3 on Disney Plus, and it was so good, man. It was such a good movie. You know, I remember I grew up on Toy Story. Toy Story 2 wasn't that great, but then you heard great reviews of 3 and 4. So we're gonna try to watch 4 at some point as well. It's on Disney Plus. So, but yeah, I mean, that sounds actually really good.
As far as what I've been drinking, I just picked up a 12-pack of Blue Moon, man. It's a classic, very easy drinking beer.
Now, let me ask you bust out the oranges?
No, I don't.
Just straight up. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. I did try with a Clementine, not the same.
I'm not a huge Blue Moon guy, but I begin. Every once in a while, Blue Moon with an orange.
So it's weird.
Hard to
Blue
beat
Moon
it.
is my go-to when I'm eating barbecue.
Okay, that's very strange. But
I
okay.
guess it's always on tap at one of my favorite barbecue joints in Murfreesboro, Jim and Nick's. So it's, you know, kind of it's $1 cheaper than the other drafts. I can get a 22 ounce for the same price as the other 16 ouncers.
Sure.
So it's a easy, and it goes well with barbecue.
There you go.
So yeah, I just been drinking that, you know, and also drinking my Hazy Little Thing IPA. Can't go without that.
They are a sponsor. Yeah, the Hazy Little Thing IPA. I actually have on mine. It's not like I've been drinking a lot of it or anything. At the soccer game, when I go to Nissan Stadium, the best deal is always to buy a bottle of wine, and they pour it in a carafe for you. It's like $38 as opposed to like 4 beers that are going to be $10 a piece, and you're going to spend around the same. So it's the Dark Horse wine, and so we had us a nice little bottle. And after halftime, Stephanie had gone to the bathroom, and she comes back, and she had us another little Dark Horse bottle of wine. So we had us a couple of bottles of wine at the soccer game last night. So Dark Horse, shout out. You want to become a sponsor? We don't have a wine sponsor yet, so what's up with it? That's going to close out What Are You Binging? We're going to push forward and go into What Snaps Your Stick, brought to you by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. Tastes like home.
All right, so why don't you start us off, Brandon? What's snapping your stick this week in the sports world?
Okay, so what's really snapping my stick is when groups of people sit in other people's seats at sporting events before the event really starts. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about being in a seat, like scooted over one and have to move over, or even talking about somebody that moves into empty seats in the second or third period. I'm talking about people that before even the national anthem is sang are sitting in other people's spots that they paid money for, or groups of people are sitting in other people's spots. That's something that wears me out. Like, I'm all for moving forward and filling in empty seats. I completely get it. But you got to give folks a chance to get to their seats.
Yeah.
You know, that's
sure.
that's the fair way to approach it. So, you know, that's just something that's snapping my stick sports wise that I can get off my chest here.
Yeah, and hell, just last night I broke that rule a little bit. We had my wife's aunt with us, and we got her a single ticket before the game, and it was a couple rows, like a good bit in front of us down near the ice, and she sat with us.
A single person is a completely different game than you moving an entire group of people.
Yeah, and so the guy came up and said, "Oh, that's my seat." And she said, "No problem, I will move right now. I'm just here with my family." And the guy said, "You know what? No biggie. I'm gonna go up to the bar. If I come down later, I get my seat. If not, you just stay here until I get here." Sure. I think you just got to be understanding about it. And yeah, a group of 5 people coming and just taking a big 5 seats.
Yeah, it's way more egregious, especially since if that guy wanted to even switch seats with her, he brought a single ticket as well. He could have been on the glass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like she's moved from 316 to 110. She moved back a little bit in the chance that, because that seat sometimes doesn't get sold. Well, that very often.
There's been times that the 3 seats next to my season tickets just don't get sold.
Yeah. So even when 2 of them get sold, sometimes the one that is right next to your 2 seats don't. And I mean, we're big guys. So us 2 sitting right beside each other is always a very tight squeeze. So if we can get that extra seat to the right of you, dope.
So yeah, what's snapping my stick in the sports world is something that I almost got into a fight with somebody earlier in the season. Fans who hate for no reason away team fans.
Yeah.
It makes, like, dude, you do realize that we're scheduled to play them at home. Like, they're expected to come here and support their team. They're paying taxes in your city.
Yeah.
They are.
Especially a city like Tennessee that has no income tax.
Yeah.
Like, literally, people
tourism is like our biggest thing.
People spending money here is how we pay for stuff.
Yeah.
Bro.
There was a guy next to us, and it was when we played the Flames on Halloween and the shit show that game turned out to be.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of Flames back, and they're not being rude. They're just cheering. Like, they're cheering. They made
for
a
their team.
an overtime comeback.
Yeah.
This old guy next to us is like, "What are these assholes doing? They shouldn't be." He like flicks them off and like, he's like, "Get the fuck out of Nashville." And he's walking past me. I'm staying to watch 3 stars of the game.
Get out of Nashville, and he's driving.
And then
back
he
to
looks
Lynchburg.
at me. He's like, "What about these assholes? Huh? They should get out of here." I'm like, I mean, you could try being nice. I mean, they're paying taxes here. I go to the restroom after the game, and he's in front of me. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, some jackass next to me was said I should be nice to away fans." And the guy's like, "Okay, sir, I'm peeing."
Yeah. I'm so sorry, buddy, but I have my Johnson in my hand.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Sir, this is a urinal.
He looks back and sees me, and I'm just like, he looks at me and like he notices like I'm much bigger than this guy, and I'm like, look, give him the stare down. Like, are you gonna say something? Are you gonna say it to my face or just to the urinal?
Well, and there's a completely different ball game of some healthy ribbing and
yeah, there's nothing wrong with some good chirps. And now I understand that away fans can sometimes get obnoxious. Sure, we've seen it.
Sure,
and
we've been it.
Yeah, we have seen it and we've been it, and sometimes they get a little obnoxious. But
when people are rude to us, we're not upset. Because we understand, we have deserved this. We've brought this upon ourselves.
In fact, I've seen more home fans be more obnoxious than away fans.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Like, what was it last year when the dude tried to tell me to sit down
with 45 seconds left in the game when we're up by 1 and there's a goalie pull.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. We met the king of Bridgestone that night.
Yeah, he really didn't like me because from that point on, I asked him if he would let me. Am I allowed to get up? He got so mad. So I am completely with you. That's something that wears me out. It's some common courtesy that we should all extend, especially here in Nashville. Something that we're known for is our friendliness.
So what is snapping your stick outside of sports today.
When you're at a bar and they have a cornhole board set up, you're allowed to play that game in like a specific time frame, like pre 9 o'clock, before that bar gets completely crowded. And now you're in everybody's way while playing cornhole. You're at a bar in downtown or midtown or wherever you are. Why are you playing cornhole? Hang out and talk with your friends and your buddies, or get a cornhole board and take it to your home.
Yeah.
And play it there, because that is the time to play cornhole, not when we're all shoulder to shoulder trying to squeeze through and grab a drink at the bar. So,
yeah, I'm walking through your game if I need to walk through it at that point.
Yeah, and I'm going to steal that beanbag and I'm going to put it in my pants.
All right, so what's snapping my stick outside of sports, and this is something that happens especially in Nashville, man. You're at a light, and it turns green, and literally before my foot's even off the brake, I'm getting honked at. It hasn't even been green for a full second yet, and people are honking at you to leave. Like, this dude had to have had his
he was ready.
He had his palm on the horn, like, it's red, boom, green.
Got him.
One time, I guess a guy was trying to anticipate the green light, and he honked before it turned green. Sorry, bud. And there are sometimes, and my wife's guilty of this sometimes too, where she's in the passenger seat, and she doesn't realize that perception of time is a little different when you're driving, and so she'll be like, it's green. I'm like, I know, it just turned green.
I've got it. I didn't slam my foot on the brake real
I've
quick,
been driving for a while.
Megan, put your seatbelt on, for goodness sake. PSA, Megan, put your seatbelt on.
All right, so before we sign off, what'd you learn this episode, bud?
I learned that you don't like to get dressed.
I mean, that is very true. You're not wrong.
Valid.
All right, so
What about you, man?
For me, I learned that I'm not very good at projecting who's going to win hockey games.
You are absolutely not, and I'm so sorry that we should really team up against another podcast or something, man, to really give us another shot here.
Because here's the thing, I'm playing the odds, and the moment I stop playing the odds work.
Well, and see, the real problem that you're mostly having is I'm just going off the cuff, picking random guys like, you know what, the Canucks are going to beat the Bruins this week. And and I'm hitting them. So there's definitely been a little bit of luck that's come with it. So,
but all right, it's about time to sign off. For Brandon Bond, this is Bobby Butler. This has been Pucks Out Podcast, a member of the Penalty Box Radio Network. Have a great day, guys.
Peace.